Hello friends, in this video, the topic which we are going to discuss is distance metric induced by norm. Now, we will list first some definitions. If you have done a course on linear algebra, you must be aware of these definitions. So the first definition is of inner product. So an inner product on a real vector space V is defined in a following manner. So an inner product on a real vector space V is mapped from V cross V to set of real numbers R, satisfying these four conditions. Now what are these conditions? First condition is if you take any element x in your V, then image of x comma x under this map should always be greater equal 0. Second, this image will be equal to 0 if and only if your element x itself is 0. Second condition which this map should satisfy, that image of x comma y should be equal to image of y comma x. The third is image of x plus z. X and z are again two elements of V and y is also a third element of V. So if x plus z comma y, if you look for the image of this pair, so it should be equal to image of xy plus image of zy. And similarly for the second coordinate, if you look for the image of the pair x and y plus z, that means image of x comma y plus z, it should be equal to image of xy plus image of xz. The last condition is if you take alpha, where alpha is a scalar, that means it's a real number here. So alpha x comma y, if you look for its image, it is equal to image of xy multiplied with alpha. So if these four conditions are satisfied, you say your map is inner product and the pair V comma this map is called the inner product space. See, when there is no confusion, we generally omit this symbol and we simply say that V is inner product space. Now the next definition. Next definition is norm. So you take a vector space again over R or C, doesn't matter, whichever field you want to choose. So a norm on your vector space V is again a function from V to R. Remember, inner product was function from V cross V to R, but your norm is function from V to R. That means inner product was assigning a real number to pair of your vectors, to pair of elements of your vector space, but norm assigns a real number to every element of your vector space. So norm is a function from V to R satisfying these three properties. First, norm means the image of x under your map should be greater equal 0 for all x, and this image will be 0 if and only if your x itself is 0. Second, if your alpha is any scalar, remember if you are taking your field to be R, alpha will be a real number. If you are taking your field to be C, then your alpha will be a complex number. So depending on that, if you take norm of alpha x, that means image of alpha x, it should be equal to mod alpha times norm of x. And third is triangle inequality for norm. That means norm of x plus y should always be less equal norm x plus norm y. If these three conditions are satisfied, you say that your function is a norm on your vector space V. And this pair V comma norm is called a norm linear space. Now the next definition, in fact not definition, you can say, it's a remark kind of thing. You can say, means you can prove that every inner product gives rise to a norm in a following manner, that to every element x you assign a real number square root of inner product of x comma x. So if you have an inner product space, you define your function norm x to be square root of inner product x with x. So it's an easy exercise. You can check that this function will satisfy all the properties of norm and hence it will be a norm. If you have done a linear algebra course, you must have proved it also. Now the next, I want to list the Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. Again, I will not prove this Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. We have listed this Cauchy-Schwarz inequality earlier also in video 1. There we mentioned it for only the real numbers. Now here, in the term of inner product we are saying, so mod of inner product xy is always less equal norm x norm y, and the equality here occur, that means mod of inner product xy is equal to norm x norm y if and only if your x and y are scalar multiple of each other, or you can say x is some scalar alpha times y, then this equality in this equation will, in this inequality will hold. So that is the Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. You can look for the proof, but I am not proving it here. Now the next thing, now we will come back to our metric. So this lemma says that if you have a non-linear space, then you define your function d as d of xy equal to norm of x minus y. Then the claim is that D is metric on V. So now let's see how to prove it. You take x, y, z inside V. Now first condition, that it should be greater equal 0. So let's see. Distance between xy is norm x minus y, and by definition of norm it has to be greater equal 0. And by definition of norm only, this norm x minus y will be 0 if and only if x minus y is 0, and x minus y is 0 if and only if x is equal to y. That means distance between x and y is 0 if and only if your x is equal to y. So this is the first condition which is satisfied by the function d. Now second, symmetricity. Distance between xy is norm x minus y. Norm x minus y can be written as norm of minus times y minus x. Now this minus 1 is a scalar. So by definition of norm only, you can say it is mod of minus 1 times norm y minus x. And mod of minus 1 is known to us, that is plus 1. So it is norm y minus x, which is distance between y and x. Now let's see for the triangle inequality. Now norm x minus z is norm of x minus, means norm of x minus z is distance between x and z. So what you do is add and subtract y. So again by triangle inequality of norm, you will have norm x minus y plus y minus z is less equal norm of x minus y plus norm of y minus z, and that is, you have proved distance between xz is less equal distance between xy plus distance between yz, and that proves that D defines a metric on V. So every norm will give rise to a metric. Now we say that the terminology we use, that we say D is metric associated with the norm. Now next lemma, it's a short lemma, that metric induced by norms are translation invariant. Now what is translation invariant? That means if you have two elements x and y, and you translate both the element by a same vector z, then the distance between xy and distance between x plus z and y plus z will remain unchanged. That means distance between xy is same as distance between x plus z comma y plus z. So if your metric is induced from a norm, then you say, then you can prove that metric is translation invariant. So let's see for the proof. One line proof it is. Distance between x plus z, y plus z is norm of x plus z minus y plus z. Now z and z will get cancelled, and you will get it is norm of x minus y, which is distance between x and y. Now we will look for certain examples of metric which are induced by some norm. So these metric we have already discussed in our previous videos, but still now we will see it from the perspective of norm. So again we will consider the set Rn and take a element x, x1, x2, xn inside this Rn and define your norm. Remember, I am denoting this norm by norm suffix 2. This is the notation in this example I am using. So norm x, you define it to be square root of x1 square plus x2 square plus xn square. And the claim is this function is norm on Rn. Now, if you think a little bit, you can see this norm is arising from the inner product. That is, which inner product you can think? So this inner product will be Euclidean inner product, or you say your dot product. That means what is your Euclidean inner product of x and y if you take? So it will be x1 y1 plus x2 y2 plus xn yn. that will be your Euclidean inner product, and that inner product will give rise to this norm. So from there also you can say that a Euclidean inner product, that is an inner product and that is giving rise to this function, so it is a norm. So in that way also you can see, but here I will prove it explicitly that it defines all the conditions to be a norm. So first condition, that it should be a non-zero. So norm of x, again it is square root of x1 square x plus x2 square plus xn square. So square of any real number is non-negative, so this is definitely greater equal 0. And now when this norm will be equal to 0, it will be equal to 0 if and only if all x1 square, x2 square, xn square are 0. That means your x1, x2, xn are 0. That means norm is 0 if and only if your x itself is 0. So first condition now we have proved. Now for the second condition, you take a alpha in R. Now norm of alpha x. Norm of alpha x will be square root of alpha x1 square, alpha x2 square plus alpha xn square. Now alpha square you can take common and then you can take it outside from the square root, and since we are dealing with the positive square root only, you will take the positive part of alpha outside, that means mod of alpha, and this will be into square root of x1 square plus x2 square plus xn square, and that is equal to mod alpha times norm x2. So the second property is also satisfied by this function. Now the third triangle inequality which we need to prove. So norm of x plus y, you consider norm x plus y is square root of x1 plus y1 the whole square, x2 plus y2 the whole square plus xn plus yn the whole square. Now here we will make use of the Minkowski inequality. Now by Minkowski inequality you are going to get that this part is less equal square root of x1 square, x2 square plus xn square plus square root of y1 square plus y2 square plus yn square. And this part, first part is your norm x and this second part is your norm y, and that proves that norm x plus y is less equal norm x plus norm y. That means the function which you have defined is a norm function. And now which metric will this norm function induce? Norm x minus y will be, if you take norm x minus y will be square root of x1 minus y1 square plus x2 minus y2 square plus xn minus yn square, and this is your general Euclidean metric. That means your distance function, you can say. Now we had used the notation d2 for this metric, therefore here also I use the norm 2 for this function, because the norm, we can say norm 2 gives rise to the metric d2, or metric d2 is induced from norm 2. So this is the first example. Now let's see the second example of a metric induced from a norm. So again on Rn, for x equal to x1, x2, xn, you define norm to be, now here the notation I am using is norm infinity. So you can get the sense why norm infinity is used, because it will give rise to your metric d infinity. So norm x, I am defining it as maximum of mod xk, that means maximum of mod x1, mod x2, mod xn, that you are saying it as norm of x. Now we will prove that it defines a norm on Rn. So again, since it's an absolute value function, it has to be a greater equal 0. So norm of x has to be greater equal 0, and this is equal to 0 if and only if maximum of mod xk is 0. Now maximum of mod xk is 0, that means all other xi's has to be 0. Why? Because absolute value function will never take negative value, it will always be greater equal 0, and if maximum of those is 0, that means all other has to be 0. That means your norm x infinity is 0 if and only if all x1, x2, xn are 0, that means your x is 0. Now for second condition, you take alpha inside your set of real number. Now norm alpha x. Norm alpha x will be, of course, maximum of mod alpha xk. Now maximum of mod alpha xk, I can say it is maximum of mod alpha into mod xk, and then mod alpha I can take outside and I can say it is mod alpha times maximum of mod xk, and that will prove that it is equal to mod alpha times norm x. But now let's see for the triangle inequality. Now norm of x plus y is maximum of mod xk plus yk, because what will be the coordinate of x plus y? x1 plus y1, x2 plus y2, x3 plus y3 up to xn plus yn. So maximum among them, absolute value function of course of those, that will be our norm of x plus y. So it will be some mod of xk naught plus yk naught for some k naught lying between 1 to n. Now you can apply the triangle inequality of absolute value function to get it is less equal mod xk naught plus mod yk naught. But mod xk naught is definitely going to be less equal maximum of mod xk, and mod yk naught is going to be less equal maximum of mod yk. So you have proved that norm x plus y is less equal norm x plus norm y, and that proves norm infinity, the function which you have defined, is a norm. Now which metric it will induce? As earlier I had mentioned, it norm x minus y will be maximum of mod xk minus yk, and this metric we had earlier used the notation d infinity. So norm infinity is giving rise to a metric d infinity. Now next example we will see. In Rn only, you take x equal to x1, x2, xn, y equal to y1, y2, yn. Define your norm x to be, again here I am using the notation norm suffix 1. So you can get the sense why I am using it is suffix 1. So norm x1 you define it to be mod x1 plus mod x2 up to plus mod xn. And the claim is it is a norm. So again it is addition of absolute value terms. So it has to be a greater equal 0. Now when will it be 0? Suppose your norm x is 0. That means all this addition means this addition is equal to 0. But this addition is of all positive terms. So addition of all positive term is 0 if and only if all terms are 0. So you can say it is x1, x2, xn are 0. That means norm x is 0 if and only if your x is equal to 0. Now you take a scalar alpha and consider norm alpha x. So norm alpha x will be again addition of mod alpha x1, alpha x2, alpha xn. Now mod alpha you can take common and you can write it as mod alpha times mod x1 plus mod x2 plus mod xn. That means it is mod alpha times norm x1. That will prove the second part. Now the third, norm x plus y. Norm x plus y is mod x1 plus y1, mod x2 plus y2, mod xn plus yn. And again you can apply the triangle inequality for absolute value function to get it is less equal mod x1 plus mod y1, this is less equal mod x2 plus mod y2, this is less equal mod xn plus mod yn. And that if you segregate the terms of xi's and yi's, you will get it is less equal mod x1 plus mod x2 plus mod xn plus mod y1 plus mod y2 plus mod yn, which is equal to norm x plus norm y. So you have proved the triangle inequality norm x plus y is less equal norm x plus norm y. Now which metric will it induce? This will give rise to a metric d1, that is norm x minus y will be mod of x1 minus y1 plus mod x2 minus y2 plus mod xn minus yn on Rn. Now the next example, f and g you take in CAB. CAB is your set of all real valued continuous function on closed interval AB, and you define your norm. Again here I am using norm suffix 1. So norm f to be integration of mod f of x dx integrated between a to b. Now claim is this is a norm function. This will define a norm function on CAB. So let's check. So first of all, it's again absolute value function of f of x. So it is always greater equal 0 for all x inside closed interval AB. So if you integrate, so you will get integration of mod f of x dx is always greater equal 0. So the first part is okay. Now when will it be 0? It will be 0. So you remember that mod of f of x is greater equal 0. So is it a continuous function? F is continuous function, therefore mod of f is continuous function. So continuous non-negative function and its integration is 0. That means your function has to be 0. So this lemma we have proved in video 2. If you want you can refer there. So norm of f is 0 if and only if your f itself is 0. Now the next part, that is for scalar alpha. For any scalar alpha you have norm alpha, as integration of mod of alpha f of x. Now alpha is constant, mod alpha is constant. You can take it outside of the integral and you can write it as mod alpha times integration of mod f of x, and that can be written as mod alpha norm f. Now the triangle inequality, norm f plus g. Norm f plus g is integral of mod f plus g. Now by triangle inequality of absolute value function, mod f plus g is less equal mod f plus mod g, and therefore integral, by using the properties of integral, you can say integral of mod f plus g is less equal integral of mod f plus mod g, and this is equal to integral of mod f plus integral of mod g, which is norm f plus norm g. So you have proved norm f plus g is less equal norm f plus norm g, and this is a norm that you have proved. Now which metric will it induce? It will induce distance between f and g will be norm of f minus g, and norm of f minus g is integration mod of f of x minus g of x dx, which we have earlier denoted by d1. So norm 1 metric on norm 1 on CAB will give rise to the metric d1.